Wave theory, reflection and refraction from dielectric surface, normal incidence, series on electromagnetic field theory, lecture number 4.42. Wave undergoes reflection and refraction when it falls over a dielectric surface. In the present session, the focus is on normal incidence of a plane wave over a dielectric surface. To understand, to analyze the situation, we consider a sketch of normal incidence of plane wave over the surface of a dielectric. The surface of dielectric is assumed to be at z equal to 0 plane. Below this plane, that is for z less than 0, the entire region is filled with the dielectric, and the region above the surface, that is for z more than 0, it is assumed to be a free space. Here is shown a wave traveling in free space and falling normally over the dielectric surface. Note, this wave, incident wave, is traveling in negative z direction. The incident wave then partly gets reflected, remaining gets transmitted or refracted. While getting reflected and while getting refracted, it obeys Snell's laws of reflection, Snell's laws of refraction. Accordingly, angle of reflection is equal to angle of incidence, and angle of refraction, theta r obeys sin theta I by sin theta r is square root of epsilon r by epsilon I. By using these laws, now one can sketch the reflected wave. Reflected wave is also normal, and one can also sketch transmitted wave. Note, transmitted wave is also normal to the dielectric surface. Now, if we consider the region above the dielectric surface, in this region we have two waves, one incident wave, another reflected wave. They are traveling over the same path but in opposite directions. It results in standing wave pattern. Note that this standing wave pattern is an impure one because amplitude of reflected wave is less than amplitude of incident wave. So interfering waves are having different amplitudes. Hence, it is impure standing wave. This is the situation above the reflecting surface. In the region below the surface, that is in the dielectric region, there exists transmitted wave and it is a traveling wave. Here, the fields are shown. They are given directions. The directions are arbitrary. Of course, EH direction of propagation. They always form a right-handed vector system. When I say arbitrary, I mean here ER is shown opposite to EI. This kind of situation, ER being opposite direction to EI, it is only for certain situations, which we are going to see. There are situations where EI and ER can be in the same direction. All those things we see soon. Now, the analysis of reflection and refraction at the surface of a dielectric, it is mainly concerned with determining reflection quotient and transmission quotient. Reflection quotient is electric field in the reflected wave by electric field in the incident wave. Transmission quotient is electric field in the transmitted wave by electric field in the incident wave. Ratios. How these ratios are determined? For that, we have to consider boundary conditions. According to one boundary condition, the tangential component of electric field, it is always continuous across the interface. Tangential component of magnetic field is continuous across the interface in the absence of surface currents. Here, both the media above z equal to 0 plane, below z equal to 0 plane, both the media are dielectrics or insulators. So there is no chance, there is no scope for the existence of surface currents. So tangential components of magnetic fields must be continuous. Above the surface, tangential component of magnetic field is Hi plus Hr. Below it is Ht. Above the surface, tangential electric field is Ei plus Er. Below it is Et. Why E and H are tangential? Reason is it is plane wave, incidence is normal, therefore electric field and magnetic field must be normal to direction of propagation, and hence they must be parallel to reflecting surface, refracting surface. So they are tangential. Therefore, one can write EI plus ER equal to ET, HI plus HR equal to HT. EI is eta 1, HI, eta 1 is intrinsic impedance of medium 1 above Z equal to 0 plane. ER equal to minus eta 1 HR. Why it is negative sign? Reason is either electric field or magnetic field. Either one must reverse its direction. Reason is direction of propagation is opposite to direction of propagation of the incident wave. That is, direction of propagation of reflected wave is opposite to direction of propagation of the incident wave. So one field component must undergo phase reversal. That gives negative sign there. ET equal to eta 2. Eta 2 is intrinsic impedance of the dielectric. Now reflection quotient. By manipulating these relations, these are the relations that are derived from boundary conditions. Reflection quotient symbol is gamma. By definition it is ER by EI. By a little bit of manipulation, one can get eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 1 plus eta 2. Transmission quotient, which is ET by EI. ET is EI plus ER by EI. A little bit of manipulation gives 2 eta 2 by eta 1 plus eta 2. The reflection and transmission coefficients, they can be converted in terms of permittivity of the media or dielectric constants of the media. Gamma is eta 2 by eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 1 plus eta 2. But we know eta 1 is mu 1 by epsilon 1. Eta 2 is mu 2 by epsilon 2. The substitution and a little bit of manipulation leads to reflection quotient equal to square root of epsilon 1 minus square root of epsilon 2 by square root of epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. Epsilon 1, epsilon 2, they can be values of permittivity or they can be dielectric constants of the media. Transmission quotient becomes 2 square root of epsilon 1 by square root of epsilon 1 plus square root of epsilon 2. The reflection and transmission quotients are independent of polarization, same for both polarization. The incident wave may be perpendicularly polarized, the incident wave may be parallelly polarized. In either case, these expressions are valid. These relations are valid even when wave falls over a perfect conductor surface for which eta 2 is 0, giving gamma minus 1 and tau equal to 0. Note there exists a standing wave pattern normal to the reflecting surface and it is an impure one, as already mentioned, a combination of pure standing wave and a pure traveling wave. Hence, minima are not zeros and maxima are not maximum possible, twice the amplitude of incident wave. Also note there is no wave, either traveling or standing wave, parallel to the surface. Now we consider two situations. Let us suppose wave is entering from rarer to denser medium. In this case, eta 2 is less than eta 1 or epsilon 2 is more than epsilon 1. In this case, RC becomes negative. E field vector undergoes phase reversal upon reflection. In the diagram which we considered there, it is shown ER is opposite to EI direction wise. That representation is valid when wave is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. But wave is traveling from denser to rarer medium, we are going to see RC becomes positive and ER and EI both will be in the same direction. Third point, E field forms a node and H an antinode at the reflecting surface. Relative maxima of E and minima of H occurs at a distance of 2n plus 1 lambda 1 by 4. N equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. in front of dielectric surface. Here lambda 1 is wavelength in the incident medium. If it is free space, lambda 1 is simply C by F. C is velocity, free space velocity divided by frequency of the wave. If incident medium is not free space, let us say it is also a dielectric medium, then in such case lambda 1 is C by F square root of epsilon 1. This is going to be relative permittivity of the incident medium. This is going to be delta lambda 1. Relative maxima of H and minima of E occurs at a distance of n lambda 1 by 2, n equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. We consider another situation, denser to rarer medium. In this case, eta 2 is more than eta 1 or epsilon 2 is less than epsilon 1. In this case, RC is positive. As already mentioned, in such case, electric field in the reflected wave and electric field in the incident wave both are in the same direction. Both assume same directions. E undergoes, electric field vector undergoes no phase change. It results in a maximum for E and a minimum for H at the reflecting surface. Relative maximum of E, minimum of H occurs at a distance of n lambda 1 by 2. N is an integer in front of dielectric surface. Relative maxima of H, minimum of E occurs at a distance of 2n plus 1 lambda 1 by 4, n equal to 0, 1 to etc. Important point here to remember is wave transmission from rarer medium to denser medium. In this case, reflection coefficient is negative and electric vector undergoes phase reversal. Magnetic vector undergoes no phase reversal. When transmission is from denser to rarer medium, then reflection coefficient is positive. Electric vector in the reflected wave, electric vector in the incident wave, both assume same direction. Electric vector undergoes no phase reversal, but magnetic vector undergoes phase reversal, and direction of magnetic vector in the reflected wave is opposite to magnetic vector in the incident wave. It all depends the relative denser or rarer of the media. Polarization change can happen on normal incidence. When the incident wave is linearly polarized, the reflected wave as well as transmitted waves remain linearly polarized, but their planes of polarization different. They differ from that of incident wave. When the incident wave is circularly polarized, the reflected as well as the transmitted waves become elliptically polarized, with their major axis falling either parallel or perpendicular to plane of incidence. The ratio of maximum to minimum electric or magnetic field magnitudes in the standing wave pattern, they are called standing wave ratio. It is called standing wave ratio, SWR, and it is denoted by rho. It is related to reflection quotient. Reflection quotient has already been defined, ER by EI. Rho is, by definition, E max by E minimum or H max by H minimum, but E max is 1 by 1 plus gamma by 1 minus gamma. From this, one can see magnitude of gamma is rho minus 1 by rho plus 1. The SWR is a dimensionless quantity and its range is from 1 to infinity. Most of the times it is mentioned in dB. Here are mentioned reflection quotient and transmission quotient in case of normal incidence. In the column here, in the first row, reflection quotient and transmission quotient, they are mentioned in terms of intrinsic impedance. In the second row, they are mentioned in terms of permittivities. These are some of the things I want to share regarding normal incidence of a plane wave over a dielectric surface. Enough.